Hey, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We're going to be doing live psychic readings. I'm here with my good friend, Alan Johnson, and we're here to answer questions. Thank you for joining us. How are you tonight, Alan?
I'm well. It's been, I think, 9 months since we last appeared together.
You didn't have to not be on YouTube just because of the baby.
Well, how did you know?
The 9 months gave it away. The 9 months is
that
what
little bundle of joy.
That little bundle of joy.
I'd like to say I spent that time, learning Mandarin or running a 5K or, restoring a house. But
that's okay. You were living.
Just having my life. Exactly.
You were living. That's good. Living is
life
good.
Intervenes.
Life intervenes. Sure does. So nice.
Well, it's nice to be here with you.
Thank you.
And everyone else.
Yeah. It's good to see everybody. Thank you for joining us. All right. And wait, we're twinning in blue. We sure are. Kevin Lewis is here.
Hey, Kevin.
Lewis, the healing medium. Yes, we are twinning in blue. We didn't get the memo. I wore satin. It's not my PJs. It sort of looks
it's our close psychic bond, Susan.
That's what it is. That and the fact that I didn't give up the fact that you were having the baby in those 9 months.
Right.
I got your back. Don't worry.
I've been doing my sit-ups.
Nice. Yeah. So let's get moving. I've got some sage going here. So if you see smoke, I'm not on fire yet. So
we've already. Oh, you're on fire. All right. We already have some great questions.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Let's do this. Let's jump in.
You want to pick one or?
Yes. I want to also just say to you guys that even if we don't get to your question, because we're likely not, we just started like 3 minutes ago and we already have 450 in the house. So pay attention to what we say though, because you can get your question answered through other people's questions, just like in spirit, when someone comes through, when there's one person who matches all the things for you as well, it can be also your person in spirit, because spirit doesn't waste any energy. If they can get 5 people's questions answered or 100 people's questions answered, they're going to do that, right? So let's get moving. All right, let me grab D.
And I do have the magic 8 ball here if we get stuck.
Okay, good. If we get stuck.
We get stuck,
we got a backup plan. D says, tell me about my retirement. So we can tell you about your retirement, but if you ask a specific question, we can give you a specific answer. Like if you say, am I going to be able to retire by August of 2025? We can say yes or no. But if you just say about your retirement, it's really broad. That could be interpreted as, will I retire, when I retire, and will I retire and not go back to work? Or, there's like a lot of ways that we can read that energy. So you guys, please be a little more specific and we will give you a specific answer in return. So right off the bat, tell me about your retirement. To me, the energy feels delayed, but then there's a delay there, but it feels like paperwork or a miscommunication. Like somebody says, oh, you might have to go back and say, really? Because this doesn't make sense to me. And they go, oh, no, this doesn't make sense. So there could be like some kind of delay snafu kind of thing. And then it gets approved. So that's what I'm getting for you. Now, if you're asking, will I retire? Yeah, I think you're going to retire. Do you have anything to add to that, Alan?
It feels that it's not a linear experience. It feels like when I'm seeing like someone being pulled back into something. So he might feel that in his energy he's left, but he still has to complete. He or she, you'll need to complete something before you leave. I also feel you could be called back for something. So the actual leaving, the actual severing of that relationship may not be as clean. However, I don't know that that's actually a problem. What I'm laying out is how it may unfold, but I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem, but I got the same thing. Like, will you start and start again? Like I said the same thing, right? So it just, there's not a dead end here. I don't feel like there's an ending. I feel like there's an ending and a beginning of something.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think that there is divine timing around this. I know we throw that term around loosely. But I do feel that this, when it's done, and it feels like it's a very clear severing of the relationship.
From that company, right? Okay.
Right.
Great. And hey, Kevin's Loving Vibrations here, and AM
Hey,
Maestro is here. So hello to all the readers, and thank you to the moderators. Okay, appreciate you. All right, so I think that's going to do it, Dee. So let's move on. Do you want to grab a question, Alan?
Yes. Hi, Susan and Alan. My husband's abusive new boss is making his work life intolerable. After almost a year of that, I see my husband's spirit being crushed. Is there any hope on the horizon? So what I'm hearing, AJ Mole 68 saying that this has been happening for a year. She's witnessing this for a year. I think part of this is a lot. I know spouses are connected, certainly, but this may be something you need to let him experience and handle. You can do sort of backup once your husband is home, back home, but it feels like this is something he needs to sort of sort out. I think that there are old issues from his childhood in this, and in terms of being bullied or his self-worth being chipped away. I think that this could turn very quickly this spring, like even as early as April, as late as June, July. It feels like this is an episode that's going to flip. There's whether that person is leaving, whether your husband, whether the boss is leaving, or your husband moves to a new setting. But in the meantime, I think it's important to understand the opportunity for growth that's sort of implicit in this dynamic with a boss. And I know that sucks, but
it's all true. It's all true, though. And I want to say hi to Karen from Little Blue Lotus Astrology. I agree with Alan. Alan, by the way, does offer readings. His information is in the description here. And Alan is great at that 50,000 foot view. You know what I mean? Like, he really gives you that big picture, which frankly is helpful, because when we get caught up in the details, sometimes the details are very changeable, right? As we've seen. I agree 100% with Alan. I feel like this is the guides are saying this is his last rodeo with this kind of energy. Like, this is meant to close out this lesson. And around this bullying energy, as we've talked about, there's a lot of bully energy just everywhere right now. It's like the bullies are all out of their holes and running around, crazy. So I do think something, and I do feel like I agree with Alan, something is going to come to a head. It could come to a head a lot of different ways. It could be that this guy the boss gets censured. I just feel like he gets censured. I don't know how else to describe it. Like he gets his little wrist smacked. Now, if you do that to a narcissist, it's not pretty. Typically, they're going to take that out on you 1,000 times worse, right? But mostly, I feel like, I think Alan said this too, that your husband has an opportunity to gather himself up, gather up his everything, his courage, everything, get some therapy, seriously, and leave. And I feel like, and Alan, what do you think? I feel like there's an opportunity here. And I think you said April, May, or right around there. I feel like there's an opportunity for a husband to leave. Like, he could even get a job offer. So Spirit is trying to do their part. They understand that your husband is ready to take a leap. And so Spirit's trying to meet him halfway. If that doesn't work, then it feels like the summer is kind of grueling. I hate to say it, but there could be another off-ramp in the fall for your husband. And I would just suggest also that your husband, or that you, help him with his stress level, because I feel like this is really
Mhm.
impacting his body, perhaps even his heart, or it's just impacting him, right? And nobody's worth that. We often think we have to make this money. There's no other jobs. There's no. Dust off your resume, dust off his resume, give him the confidence, help him, pump him up so that he can go out. And even if he's a certain age, believe me, things happen, miracles happen. Okay. He doesn't have to put up with this, I don't feel like.
And I completely agree. Yet it's something he has to go through, because if he doesn't sort of understand this dynamic, it'll be repeated in the next workplace or the next situation. But I do feel that in terms of when he comes home from work, you might ask him questions, do the sort of Socratic method, ask him what this brings up for him, how does it make him feel, as opposed to poor baby, let me pour you up a big
That's
tall
gosh.
glass of something. See if you can draw out from him where this, sometimes it's just abusive, but it is something that's being triggered that's already within him. And I think it could be quite insightful.
Like if he makes the connection, oh, I didn't realize it, but this is just the way my mom treated me. Once he makes that connection that this boss reminds him of somebody that he's kind of dealt with, it's going to help him deal with the boss. It's going to put it in perspective. Okay, let's move on. Hello to the Stone Spirit. Thank you for joining us. And let's see. We're going to hope that helps, AJ. It's not, there's just no simple answers here, basically. What do I need to hear? Parapet. Okay, Spirit is drawing me into Parapet 60. Tell me what I need to hear from my spirit guides. This is also hard to do because there's no feedback from you. So it's like, it's just weird, right? But anyway, Parapet, what I'm getting from you is, or for you, that your guides are saying, get out of your head. You're in your head, you're running through sort of, and this is normal. I'm not saying this is abnormal. I'm saying this is probably how you've always lived your life, and you might not even be aware of it. But what's happening is it's keeping you stuck. They feel like you're going over you're kind of stuck. Your wheels are spinning. Okay. The wheels in your brain are spinning. You're not getting traction. So, and you may not even realize that. So what they're suggesting is to do the thing that I always tell people to do when I feel like they're stuck. And that is very simple. They're very simple things, but they're very effective things. Drive to a park or someplace else, park, and sit there for 5 or 10 minutes and think about a problem or think about a solution to something. It's amazing how different we think when we're not in our home or we're not at work, because our home is surrounded by stagnant energy that's been built up and built up and built up. But when you're somewhere else, it's just like you go on vacation or something and you're like, wow, I came back refreshed. It's because your brain could think differently, sort of outside the box. Another helpful thing is to take different routes. Like if you always take the same route to work or the same route to the grocery store, go a completely different route. Move things around your house. This is all basically moving the energy around you, and it's going to open your mind to things that you're not seeing. They're sending you messages, but you're kind of have the thing that humans do. Humans' eyes are in the front of our head. That's the way we're built. But spirit often sends us guidance from out of the blue, literally out of the blue. And so because we're not looking for the guidance way out of the blue, we often don't get it. So if weird things happen and you get out of the blue, somebody says something or out of the blue thought, that's guidance. Pay really good attention to that. What do you think, Alan?
I agree with all of that, Susan. It also feels there's a clog. There's a clog in sort of the reception. And what I heard was a little more risk taking, doing some things that sort of maybe are a little uncomfortable, whether that's driving a different way or doing something different, but shake up your routine. meet more people, do a few different things, and it feels like that starts shaking up the transmission system.
Nice.
So that's what I get. So some risk taking is the phrase I heard. More risk
Yeah.
taking.
So get out, do something different, right? Basically, both of us are
Right.
do something different or consider different options. All right.
Try medium hot Thai food, not mild.
Try medium hot Thai food.
Just
Wow, that's a
start
risk right
slow.
there.
Start slow.
That is a risk, Alan. I don't know about that. I can't co-sign that, y'all. Woo. Okay, Lori,
All right.
was that mine or
Yep.
yours? Go ahead.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh my
I'm an Aquarian as well, Carol. So happy birthday.
Happy
And
birthday.
it's all true about Aquarians. We love humanity. It's people we can't stand, in a nice way. Carol asks, today is my birthday. Will my partner and I have more healthy and successful years together? We've both been widowed and are happily together. I say yes. I think that the past isn't always a predictor of the future. And I think you have worked through some important issues. I think you've owned important issues that you've brought to this relationship that I think at times have confused your interactions. I think that you've confused each other's by maybe not always being clear about the work you need to do personally. But I think this last year and really quite recently, the beginning of 25, you've both been really committed to getting healthy. And I see good ahead. I see laughter. I see fun. I see companionship and connection.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a little building on the same theme we were just talking about. There's a little theme of getting in a rut. So you may just introduce some new things, and this might be you that you like to do the same thing over and over again, but there's just an energy around maybe feeling like, gosh, am I in a rut or something? So yeah, just introduce new things. But I agree with Alan. I think that this feels solid to me. It feels good. So yeah, happy birthday. And I'm glad that you found love.
And Carol, even just you asking, I think shows that you're committed to this entity of the relationship, that both of you are saying this is our creation and we're working together to make it as the best we can. And I congratulations.
That's true. Very, very true. Okay,
spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel.
I hope our Italian family that's buying the Italian villa will be on tonight, so we can just
that's hilarious.
How that guest room is coming. Guest rooms.
Yeah,
we'll share.
Right.
Well, separate.
If
rooms
we have to, we'll make it work for Italy. Yeah. We'll make it work. Right. Okay. Here's the what he's talking about is we read on more than one occasion this lady that was moving to Italy, and we got really positive news for her, and I think it went through, but we haven't heard from her since. So obviously she forgot about us, Alan. Darn it.
Oh, there's time. Right. We're on for another hour or two.
Well, this is really unfortunate because you know what needs to happen is we need to get personal details next time so that we can go.
We need to get a key. We need an address and a key.
We need a key. Yeah, we just need to go out and get a key. All right. Midwest Jim says, will I receive a promotion at work within the next 2 to 3 years? Midwest Jim, your spirit guides are like, what are you talking about? 2 years? Like what? I feel like you could get a promotion within just a little over a year, 13 months, 15 months, something like that. And even if you're like, well, it doesn't work like that, Susan, because there's seniority. I wouldn't take it from someone who does argue. So their spirit guides don't do it, because a promotion could mean a transfer. It could mean a better job offer. I mean, you never know. You really, truly can never know what spirit can plan. But yes, I feel like you're lined up for a promotion. What do you think, Alan?
Yeah, I think it's important not to borrow trouble. Remember that old don't borrow trouble. So I think that you're actually doing really, really well there, probably better than you realize.
That's what I think.
And I think circumstances are going to be such that I think of you being leaned on a lot more at work. I see you being recognized for the impeccable worker you are, and perhaps given more responsibility along with the associated promotion. So the energy's, big right now, but I'd say in the next 2 to 3 years, I don't often say this, but I'd say definitely.
All right.
Within that time frame, yeah.
He doesn't often say it, so take it to the bank. You know where to contact him. Okay. let's
I've
move
spoken.
on. Yep. He didn't even pull out his magic 8 ball.
I didn't.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. Someone asked about, let's do this one. Ramona asks, should we move to Santa Fe? I would say only if the house is big enough to accommodate 2 guest rooms and a shared bath.
Oh my God. It's getting rough out here. We might need to come live with you. Oh my
Just
God.
saying.
All right.
Again, that is the question is, should we move? Do you want to move? Do you want to move to Santa Fe? It feels like there might be some sense of there's a bit of duty involved in it, as opposed to it's been our dream to move to Santa Fe. Will it happen this year? So I guess my sense is you may need to go deeper and examine the reasons for why you want to do that. I think it's very doable, certainly from a logistical standpoint. But if it's to avoid something where you're currently living, or I'm not getting a clear sense of the motivation behind it. Santa Fe is gorgeous. I love New Mexico. So I think if there's sort of a confab about why you want to do it and what your intentions are and what your motivations are, I think it can be a beautiful place to live, and it could work out. But I think you need to examine your expectations about how and why.
So what I would build on with that is that what I think on the other side of what Alan is saying is that I think he's 100% right. And I think that what I feel like you might be missing is bigger town. Like, isn't it an hour and a half from Albuquerque? So I've been to Santa Fe many times. I love Santa Fe. I love New Mexico. But it's just not a big town. And you might be thinking that you want that, but when it comes down to brass tacks, it might be a little too small for you. Or what I'm also getting is it's a very touristy place, and that can be problematic. Like, it's just hard to get places when there's a lot of tourists, right? So I think I would take Alan's advice and just look very closely about why you want to go there, and also what you're looking for in a town. Just write down the pros and cons. What am I looking for in a town? You'll notice that Santa Fe is going to click a lot of those boxes, but then you might find that it comes up short on a few of the other ones. But I think if she did move there, other than I just feel restraint, I feel like it's too small or too isolated. That's what I'm getting. Like, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. You love it. You really, really love it. But when I keep you there for like 3 years, it starts to feel small, which is not the end of the world. Maybe you want to live there for 3 years or 5 years and move on. I don't know. But that's what I'm getting.
There might be a little Neptunian energy around this as well, which could be a little foggy about the expectations and what it's going to be like. It's like when you go visit someplace and you think, oh my God, I'm going to sell everything and move here. And I'm not saying that's the case here, Ramona, but really have a heart-to-heart and examine what is the motivation behind the move.
And there's 2 of them. There's a we here. So we could be picking up on the energy of one versus the other, right? So there's also that, like there's somebody who's going to feel constricted and confined, and another person I think is going to love it. So it's always hard when that's the case, right? When you have two people or multiple people trying to make a decision.
Ambivalence. There's ambivalence.
Yeah, there's a little ambivalence. So, but if you do a good job, if you buy low, if you manage to get a good price on a house or a condo or something, you could sell it and be okay in 3 years. But the housing market is so crazy right now. It is about to be bonkers, just like the stock market. I think it's going to be up and down and all over the place. It's not going to be like steady up or steady down. I feel like it's going to be down and up and down and up and down and up. It's going to be like a roller coaster. So don't buy high. We all know what the prices are. This is not the time to buy anything at a high price. This is the time to buy things at a reasonable or a low price, in my opinion.
Yeah, all true.
All right,
All right, your turn.
Oh my goodness! All right,
a lot of moving questions here, folks.
A lot of moving, yes, it is. This is a 9-year. We're all going to be moving. We're all going to be changing careers, changing friends, relationships, houses. Learning Italian. Who knows? K Moon says, what's coming in for love? All right, K Moon. Well, with all of that energy, I would imagine you are a hot commodity out there right now. You know what? What are you laughing about? Don't knock me. I know you see. Keep it to yourself for right now, sir. I was there. I was right there. And he starts laughing. Just, okay.
Right.
I feel like there's really true love coming in for you, but I will use the sandals analogy, which Alan will laugh at, but it's so true.
No.
It's tried and true for years now. So I did this reading many, many years ago. I am not doing readings. Please hear me say I'm not doing readings except for right now. But I did this reading many years ago, and this woman said, am I finally going to meet the man? I want to meet the man. And I described the man. She's like, oh my God, that's the man I want to meet. Like this guy was like kind of the Marlboro, like the Wrangler jeans and the nice shirt and that nice, decent, good looking guy. I said, but you're not going to like him. She's like, how can I not like that? I said, well, it's his shoes. She's like, what? Why would that matter? I said, he wears sandals. She was like, no, never. I'm never going to date a guy with sandals. Never. Why would he wear sandals with Wranglers? That's weird. Y'all, she met the man wearing sandals. She met him and she married him. Okay, so my point is, Spirit will bring you the love of your life sometimes in a slightly different package. And it's up to you to discern and recognize this is really what I want. So for you, K Moon, this is the energy they gave me. I think you've been attracted to a certain type of person in the past, and this new person is not that person. And so it doesn't feel like, I'm not saying maybe not physically, I'm talking about their energy. This person presents as maybe cuddly or maybe kind or maybe a pushover, or maybe even you like to run after people and you're not used to, somebody, you know what I mean? So whatever the energy is, it's going to be slightly different than you're used to, but that is the one. That is the one. They are bringing this person in. I don't know if it's going to be in the next 3 months or 6 months, but it's quite possible. When I tell you guys about timing and I say you're going to meet somebody in the next 6 months, and then you get back to me 6 months later, like you come up here on YouTube, and I say, well, did you get out of your house at all? No, I spend all my time inside the house. Well, unless it's a plumber and you got a leak, you're never going to meet that person. So you've got to do your due diligence. You got to get out and go to the volunteer thing. You got to get out and go to the art festival. You got to get out of the house in general. Okay, Alan, shoot.
Or clog your toilet and then call the plumber. You got it.
No. No.
I agree with everything Susan said. It feels like in the past, you're more aware now of the image I was being shown is a car with someone in it speeding towards you, and then you were throwing out those spike strips that the cops use to stop cars. So you were like, get away, get away, get away.
Oh my
Stop.
God. K Moon, if you're not familiar with Alan, you have now met Alan. So sorry.
I get what I get. And
Well,
and
K Moon is
you're
not around because they're probably turned off the computer and left the house at this point. Go ahead.
For those of you who stay to the very bitter end, Susan and I will treat you with a rendition of Islands in the Stream.
No, we will.
And I'll let you do the Dolly part and part.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
K Moon, I think that there's energy drawing very close to you. And I think this time you've done a lot of work about releasing blocks to that coming close. So I don't want to say what's to lose, because I know that sounds very offhand, and I don't mean it that way, but give it a try. Let someone get close to you. I think you have a lot to offer.
It's really cute. It's really sweet energy. If you can be okay with that vibe, like if you're used to those witty, sarcastic, or brooders, if you're used to those kinds of people, this is not that. It's very sweet, it's very tender, and it's very loving. So I hope you find each other, and I really do hope that you find happiness. Okay.
And let it in. Just see what happens. See what happens.
If it doesn't work, call Alan.
Yeah, call me. I'll be strapping on my sandals. First of all, Goldie Hawn, I so admire your work. Well, I have been watching you for years.
Oh, God.
And hi to who's her guy?
Oh, that cutie. I don't know what his name is.
Used to be in the Disney movies a million years ago. Someone will put it up on the Goldie Hawn. Writes, I am trying to start a 501c3 to support seniors in need, and I need an infusion of cash to get it started. Will I see this happen soon? I think that
Kurt Russell,
thank you. I see Kurt Russell call. Yeah.
I don't know if I can make it through this. Go ahead.
I believe it's going to take a little bit longer. I think that there are many of the funds that would fund something like this, unless this is privately funded, are just in such disarray right now, which might be putting it kindly. We haven't had any, we just sort of grazed up there against politics right now. But I would say more in the fall, Goldie. I think that this is a worthy effort. I think that, but it may start fairly small locally before it gets bigger. But I think you'll work out a lot of the bumps, a lot of the hiccups out of it by doing it locally. And it could be that there's some like a funded way of doing this small. So it's a worthy idea. I think that you will get people on board to help you, but it could take a little bit longer to get the kind of cash together to have the kind of impact you want to have, the larger impact.
Yes, I think that I agree with Alan, and I agree with his idea about starting small. I feel like you're going to get state funding, or you're going to get some sort of grant, because if things keep going the way they're going, we're going to need to have the states and or the local benefactors pick up the extra slack, and they will. I do see them doing that. So I think just keep doing what you're doing. Keep your energy steady, because if your energy is all over the place, then it's hard for them to meet you, right? So keep your energy as steady as you can, and then just know that when the time is right, I think there's going to be a connection, and I think that you're going to do this. Again, with Alan, I don't see it being like super huge. I think you may partner. I think you may find that there's a partner who says, hey, we've got a grant, but we need somebody to do this thing. for us to make this grant happen, and us together can do this. So I do think you're going to do it, and I do think it's going to be successful. Just try to be open-minded about how it actually gets done.
Yeah,
and thank you for doing it.
Yes, keep us posted. All right, your turn.
It's very sweet of you to do that. This is the kind of thing that we need, really. Bee Fish is, will my European trip be successful? Yeah, I mean, I don't, I mean, let's talk about successful. I didn't get kidnapped. I didn't fall in, the canal in Venice. I mean, what is your term of successful, right? Like, I feel like there's going to be some little hiccups and things, but overall, I think it's going to be a pleasant trip. I think it's going to be okay, but there is something that could happen that could be a little bit of a, a little fly in the ointment, so to speak, or a fly in your wine, but it's not the end of the world. It's not worth canceling trip over. It's basically things that happen to all of us when we travel. I think it's going to be successful. What do you think, Alan?
I agree. There's, in addition, second only to all the moving questions we're getting, there's a lot of questions about people saying we have trips planned to Ireland, Isle of Man, other locations throughout the world. Will we be safe? Should we go? Should we cancel? I'm also looking to travel internationally this spring to Italy. I'm joking, but I am looking at traveling, and I've also wondered, is it safe? I think it will be. I think that it may be the most dangerous staying here. I think traveling is going to be okay as long as I don't see anything out of the ordinary. You need to, watch your health, watch for pickpockets, be careful, all that stuff. But I would say go ahead and live your life. There's so much of this. There's so much unknown right now in many ways. And I think that's part of the plan amongst some of these folks to just keep us unbalanced. And as far as the airlines, again, I think that's going to be okay. Do you get any? I mean, do you want to broach that subject, Susan? About
I would say there's
I looked it up in your video. You did.
There's 45,000 flights a day that are FAA monitored. I think the odds of something happening are incredibly low. I think it's more, there's more odds of just a walkout of the pilots, right? Like a strike, or the computers go down. Oh, well, we can't leave. I think it's more along the lines of logistics. There could be some logistics issues in general, but yeah, that's what I would say about that.
So go ahead and, book that trip and travel, and have your life, have your lives.
Definitely live your life. Definitely. In spite. That's the best thing you can do is joy. Joy is resistance, right? Okay, go ahead, Alan.
I am looking. One moment. This is interesting. Catherine Merlin asks, do you see my safety bed invention to protect people with special needs come to fruition? I think that there's a lot of energy right now around, I think Venus is playing a prominent role in the skies now. And Venus is about creativity. And Uranus, which is also prominent now, is about innovation. I think, again, the concept has legs. I think this is a great idea. It's how do you get it to the people that can help you to get it across the finish line? So I don't know if you're working with, say, a patent attorney or with an engineer. I don't know if you've designed a mock-up, but it feels like it's important. The concept is good. You need to get all your ducks in a row in terms of how this works, introducing something to the general public. And I have no idea, again, what federal guidelines are going to be in place for patents or product safety or any of that. But I think this is an idea that feels like it came to you in an inspired way, Catherine. and you've paid attention to it. Susan, what do you think?
I agree. I want to say hi to Ron, unconditional love. I agree with you. I heard yes. I agree with Alan. Like there's a lot of moving parts that are just, we don't know. It's so difficult to navigate that space. But I feel like what I might suggest you do is when and this is for everybody, when we're trying to manifest something, sometimes we lean into it because we want it and we lean into it, and that actually doesn't work. What works is give it some space, right? Like the guides just said, a watched pot never boils. So give this some space, like say, you know what? And I do this all the time, like, Spirit, you told me to do this. So I did my part, you do your part, and I walk out of the room. It's like, you know what I mean? I showed up and did my thing. Now you do your thing. Now, the important thing here is that, as we said already, when Spirit does give you that go ahead or whatever, a lot of times it comes from some bizarre direction that we're not paying attention to. And we're like, I'm not getting any messages. It turns out they've been ringing your doorbell. It's just that you're not paying attention because it's not coming from the direction you want it to come from, or you think it should come from. So pay attention to people that say things to you that are just out of the blue. Like, yeah, my dad does this manufacturing. Okay, that's a clue. That, you know what I mean? Like different, just be open and receptive, but don't reach in and try to, push it to happen. Just be open and tell your guides to guide you, and try to just be as open to the guidance as you can.
I do think that don't be naive. You do need to work with an attorney if you aren't already, and you need to have someone. You need to know the legal framework for how these things are done, and I wouldn't want someone to steal your idea or somehow talk you out of something. So it's just always best, I'd say, to have someone representing your needs here. All right, we've got some great questions tonight.
I know, right? Are you up or am I up?
I think you are.
Oh, how nice. I had my question and now it's gone. Okay, so I'm going to go to this one. Anne says, is grant writing the right career for me? Well, I do think it is, but I think that the people are not the right people for you. I kind of feel like you're not getting respect. Like you're doing what you're doing. The guides are saying she knows what she's doing, but the people that you're working with aren't really giving you the room to do it, or the credence to do it, or whatever it is. They're not giving you the support to do it. I feel like there's some kind of and maybe this is normal. Like you're like, Susan, this is all the time. But I feel like there's uncertainty, like they change their mind, or it's just weird, right? So I would say that yes, grant writing is good for you. I would also say Spirit has some other plans for you. I would also say that this is what you're doing now and you're good at it. But I would say that there seems to be up ahead a fork in the road where you could go in a new direction. And that could, and I'm not sure if they want me to know what that is exactly, because if we know what's coming, sometimes we mess it up. I'm not saying you would. I'm just saying humans in general, if we know what's coming, we're like, I can't do that. Or, you know what I mean? And then it's better to surprise us, honestly. What are you getting, Alan?
Well, and you have great writing chops, and I think you're very you're a smart writer. I think that you're able to capture things and sell things. I've done some aspect of grant writing, and you're really organized. I'm seeing you being able to distill some of these skills and express them in another way. Say, for instance, screenwriting or writing a copy for something else. But you're right. You're a very, very good writer.
There is a creative aspect.
There's a very much of a creative aspect here, and how to sell something. And my sense is you may not want
writing.
What kind?
Or fiction writing.
Yeah. maybe not like advertising. I think there's a part of you that wants to do something that's not bound, like it's not consumerized in that way or about product. And I think Susan's right that there is a fork in the road, and just be aware. Maybe check out some screenwriting apps. Check out maybe you have like a project in a box in a drawer on a top shelf in a closet, like a screenplay or something. But I think that there's a whole different direction you could take this ability.
And screenplay, it could be any kind of writing. I don't want her to get too focused on one thing. It could be fiction. And also for some reason I see you owning your own business or and that's what an author does, right? An author is in charge of their own world. So I see you being in charge of something. So there's creative concept, that's energy here. There's writing energy here, and there's independent energy here. So I would take those three things and kind of see what kind of percolates up for you. Also some creativity. So the writing could even be an illustrated book, or you could even add some energy around woo-woo, like astrology or numerology. I mean, there's all kinds of energy flowing around, but I would say that the nexus of it seems to me like creativity, working for yourself, and writing.
And I think you'd also make a great editor, because it's not just about the writing, but it's your ability to see the bigger picture. And
that could pay for that could be your job while you do your own thing. That could pay for you doing your own thing. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I agree.
All right. Get on that.
Oh, we did that. I don't know if Anne agrees, but we
let us know, Anne.
We solved all of Anne's problems. She's like, but wait, I wanted to be a cook. I wanted to make pierogies. I'm like, well, sorry. I don't know. Okay, let's move on.
Maria Quiones asks, will I find my husband soon?
Where did you last see him?
Have you looked in the garage?
I'm sorry. Okay, no.
I know.
Okay. We're gonna get drummed out of here. They're gonna cut the power.
Or the basement. Okay. He may be in the workshop. I think there's someone you already know. I think there's someone that's part of your social network that it's someone.
Really?
That's what I feel.
She's looking at all her people like.
Suddenly that contact list is.
It's all the more interesting.
She's swiping right. It feels like there's someone who may have been, who may have lost a spouse and is sort of coming out of that experience in a healed way, and is now sort of coming up for air and looking around. It could be that you meet through a friend or a friend of a friend, but it feels like there's energy that's out there. And once again, as Susan said earlier, you'll have to do some of the work, or share the work. You're gonna have to meet the energy of this person. You're gonna have to invite it in.
You have to leave your house, in other words, Maria.
Yeah.
I agree with Alan. I would say that this person, the husband, could actually be a connection to one of your connections. So it might, maybe, I don't know, but it could also be that you go to a picnic you never go to, or you go to a festival that you never go to, or you go someplace you never go to. A class reunion. You have to get out and do things you don't normally do, or that person has to do things that they never do, because otherwise you don't meet anybody new, right? So you're going to increase your odds if you're doing new things. That's just going to help you increase your odds. And it helps spirit. I personally have had situations where I was supposed to meet someone and I just didn't go to the party. I was like, I'm just not going. Like, I'm not going. I'm tired. I'm in my PJs. I'm not going, And then I found out 3 years later, that person was at that party. So that party that night, right? So sometimes spirit does everything they can to connect two people, and the person zigs instead of zags, and you miss each other, and then spirit has to regroup and get everything back together and try and get you guys connected again. So you can help spirit by being out more, by getting outside of your house more. Give them more opportunities to connect you to that person.
I agree, and I'm not good at that either, Susan and I. Anyway, but I firmly believe in, if something is meant for you, it doesn't go by you. And I think it's important to put that energy out there, that if something is truly meant for you, it'll find you. But you have to be findable.
It'll take 3 years later, though.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
you're
fine.
saying you have to not keep the blinds down, and yeah. Maria, I give it a whirl.
Give it a whirl.
And maybe approach it with some sense of expectation or
Oh my
excitement or
God.
curiosity. Let's start with curiosity.
Do curiosity. Your guides just told me, I'm sighing on your behalf, Maria. I really am. So you could date somebody who is kind of like a placeholder. And that person, you're like, God, I don't really know, because I don't really think this is the one, but I don't mind going to dinner, and I don't mind going, I don't mind having, like, some companionship. But even being in the energy of dating kind of also puts you in the
Yeah.
energy of finding the person, right? It's sort of like putting your sneakers on gives you a better chance of going for a walk than sitting in your house with your house slippers on, right? So, so there could be that kind of situation too, but don't settle. So if you do start dating somebody, you're like, I don't think this is the one. They're not the one. They're keeping the fire burning for the next one to come in.
Yeah. And it's like, getting back on a bike. It's good. You might have a practice person in the meantime. Maria did write back and say, thank you very much. And then someone else wrote and said, I find them when I stop looking, they show up.
Yes, that's right. That's that sense of leaning in, right? Trying to get spirit to give you something. When you give your desire to spirit, and then you go get busy doing something else, spirit can get busy doing their part and deliver it to you.
And that was from Cheryl Simpson. Thank you, Cheryl. And then also AM Astro said, you'll meet Mr. Right Now.
Let's read her. Are you up next, or
I think you are.
Okay. Or I'm not, but I'm going to jump ahead because AM Astro had a question and I've been trying to get to it. Here it is. Okay. Am I supposed to retire this year? This year is 2025. I have to remind myself, 2025. I feel like you could. I don't think the guides agree with the word supposed to, for some reason. But I think that the energy suggests that it could be that you could do it. I'm seeing fall. I'm seeing like early fall or August, September. But I think you could do it. I think you could do it, especially towards the end of the year. What do you think, Alan?
Yeah, it's like that scenario you often talk about. There are multiple exits, on the road. It could be the type of thing like, I can't wait to get out of there. I want to retire. And then something comes along and you think, what, this is actually interesting, this project or this situation or this new employee that I'm going to be working with. I may stay a little bit longer. I see for sure by 26, I feel like the scenario has gained much more clarity by 26. Maybe something is planned and set in motion in 25, and then it occurs at the end of this year or early next year.
She says it's a long karmic journey. She's wondering when the contract is up. I agree with Alan. I feel like if I were you, I would work with my spirit guides to try to check out around towards the end of the year. There seems to be energy around that August, September, October, or maybe something happens. See, I think this is what it is. I think if you retire in August, I think you could probably exit. If you wait until November, something happens and sort of they talk you into staying on for just until April. But they make it worth your while. So you're like, darn, I really don't want to pass up this nice bonus they're going to give me if I just stay on. So it gets complicated. But either way, I feel like if you make the decision in your heart, because I think you're still a little unsure, and I know this for myself. When I'm still asking psychics about something, I'm not sure. I haven't quite made up my mind. Once you make up your mind, you're not asking nobody. You don't want nobody's opinion about it, right? So,
and it
try
feels
to
like
make up your own mind about it.
I agree with Susan. It feels like there may have been a set of circumstances that put you off staying there.
If you get this raise, she just asked for a 40% raise. If you get that raise, you're not going to retire.
Right.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is complicated. I knew it was complicated. I knew it had to do with money. They're going to give it to you. And then what are you going to do? Are you going to feel like you need to stick around not only for 25, but all of 26? I mean, this is a complicated situation. It really is.
All right.
And I just want to say, spirit, I have a friend that says this, and I think it's so true. When you make a decision about something or you think you've dealt with a problem or a contract or something, and then it comes back around and it's spirit saying, are you sure? Are you sure you want to quit? Are you sure you want to give up on this relationship? Are you sure? So I think this is one of those are you sure situations. Can you quit this job if they give you 40% raise? This is spirit saying, are you sure?
Good luck.
Either way.
Astro.
Yeah, either way is fine.
Yeah. All right, Weezer 324. Hike. I have been a nurse for almost 40 years. 8 years ago, I left bedside. I was a very intuitive nurse, loved my patients, and I'm wondering, can you see a spiritual gift for me? Really like helping. Hello.
Yes, hello.
I wonder what
we've been trying to contact you about your what is that phone call? We've been trying to contact you about your special gifts that you need to go ahead and use.
A nurse is a sacred calling. I mean,
yeah.
I think that, and leaving the bedside, again, even the way you just constructed this question, I think you've answered your own question. You're still intuitive. There's still that desire. You're probably a Virgo, which is all about caring for people and service and a life of service. So you're no longer working as a nurse, but I think that intuitive gift has not left you. And I think the question is, can this intuitive gift be recalibrated or transformed in a way that you can still express it in a way that's meaningful to you and other people as well? I can
answer that. Me.
Yeah, and me too.
You can do it. You can do it. Yes, you can do it. Do you see her in astrology or numerology or what is that thing? Akashic records. Even mediumship. That's what I see you. That's what I see you doing.
But there is a healing component as well, like a healing energy that she has, and I'm assuming that you're a female, Weezer. You might be a male nurse. I think that there's a healing ability here that is sort of can't not be expressed. It could also mean working with animals. I don't know if you would ever want to go back to a hospital, but I know that there are maternity wards that are looking for people to hold infants that don't have someone to look after them. So that's a way of sharing this innate healing gift you have. But as Susan said, intuitively, you might experiment with what it feels like to get information intuitively for other people, whether that's healing information or information like we're getting tonight.
It's just going to come out of you. Even if you're like Karen, who's here, who's the astrologer with Little Blue Lotus, she's very psychic. You can be very psychic, and you can have this healing energy. Like, I'm a healer. They tell me I'm a healer, but I don't heal people. I do readings, and the healing comes through that. So the healing can come through these other modalities like astrology and numerology and mediumship. It's just when I go into the energy, that's kind of what I feel for you. I feel this analytical energy, and whenever I feel that, to me, it means it's just my way of knowing that it feels like astrology, numerology, Akashic records, mediumship. That's just what I think. But you could have all the clairs, the psychic senses, take some classes, start working. None of you guys know how psychic you are until you test it. You will not know. I promise you, you will not know until you test it.
Yes. And Susan has a host of videos, Wisdom on Wednesdays on her site, and many of those videos talk about how to develop your psychic abilities. It's just there. I mean, see how you feel any given day. Just see how you feel like expressing it. But I do feel there's healing energy there.
You're not done. This is, and you really, sometimes you do have to take some time off from, our jobs are very intense. We need years off sometimes to just recalibrate and get back to center. So, but I don't think you're done. I think you have a whole nother thing ahead of you. Oh, great. She's new. Weezer's new to spiritual awakening, but good idea about classes. Yes. Good. Welcome to the crowd. Welcome to the club.
And if Susan and I had a nickel for every time we've talked to an astrologer or someone who, they'll say, well, it's not like I'm psychic like you two.
Oh my God. It's like, you are psychic like us. You are psychic. You're slightly different. And that's what makes it all go around. I don't read the same way that Alan does. We have a whole bunch of great readers right now in our chat, and we're all slightly different, but we get there, right? So,
and we're finding our way. We're continuing to learn and grow in our work as well.
Yes.
All right.
100%.
I believe that's your turn.
Uh-oh. All right. I guess I could have been.
There's not a bad one in the bunch.
Okay. This one, I don't know if I'm going to say your name right. I'll just call you Ms. Kelso. My business did terrible in 2024. What do you see for me this year? Thank you and blessings. Blessings to you too, dear. When things don't go well, you guys, I know this from so much experience. I'm even experiencing it right now in my life. When things don't go well, Spirit is basically trying to kind of slowly push you to a new direction. You know what I mean? So when things are going, when you're kind of like getting to that wall, instead of hitting the wall like I do, like I'll scale it, I'll excavate it, I'll knock, I'm like a wall is an invitation. You know what I mean? So I finally had to realize, Spirit doesn't want me to go this way. They want me to change something about what I'm doing. So for you, dear, I feel like the word they're telling me is pivot. Change directions slightly, offer a new service or product, or just be open to a change. And I'm inviting you to pay attention to things people have said to you. So this is what I'm always telling people because it's so true. If you go around and ask a bunch of people, some that know you well, some that don't know you well, what is the thing I'm really good at? Or what is the one product or the one thing that I do really, really well? Or if you could give me some business advice, what would it be? Now, you want to do this in a very neutral way because some people may not have your best interest at heart, right? So you want to collect it all and be very neutral about looking at it and see what stands out to you because you are intuitive and you'll go, wow, I never thought about it. I never thought about doing this. This is such a good idea. So that's going to help you know where to pivot. What do you think, Alan?
I think that it took a hurricane to help Susan pivot.
A hurricane and 7 feet of water in my photography studio. No, that didn't work. I came back after that. I did it. Come on now. Come on now.
So, Ms. Kelso, just I also got the sense that this isn't something you should double down on. I know that there's a time for persistence and stick-to-itiveness, but it feels like you're being pushed to pivot, to shift this to a different platform, I want to say. And I don't know that means a computer platform or IT platform. It feels like there are some good and original concepts, but either the delivery or how it is. I think your business was good at one time, but now it really needs a pretty major refresh. You may want to talk to someone about have someone do a assessment for you. Maybe hire a business analyst to help you really look at that more deeply. I think you're a good business person, but it really does feel like you'd be throwing good money after bad to continue on this this route. It could be that you focus on fewer lines or outlets or something. It feels like you really are pivoting and refining something, and it's not throwing everything out, but it's really sitting down and having a very frank examination by you and some other people you trust about what are your options. I see 26, 27, 28 being stronger.
Okay. Also, everybody, you're successful where you're happiest. So are you happy doing this? Are you doing it because you need to pay the bills? Are you doing it because in your brain it should be successful? Because that's one thing, but your heart always wins. So if you're doing it because you love doing it, then it's really about pivoting. If you're doing it because you need to pay the bills, it's about pivoting. So in all ways, it's about you've got to make a change here. Like he's saying, don't just keep going for it because this is the wrong direction.
It's also been really she's feeling devalued, or it's been,
yes,
that's been emotionally that's been hard to feel.
Yeah.
There's a failure there, and you'll pull out of the slump.
Yeah.
All right, Teresa.
Good luck, dear.
Yes, good luck. Let us know how you do or how you're doing. Teresa P asks, how do I handle family when they are not supportive of my new healing practice? Thank you. Well, to quote Mel Robbins, who's all over, let them have their own opinion. What they think of you is none of your business. And at some point, you just have to go rogue. And again, I don't mean to be glib about this. Perhaps you rely on them financially or something, but much of this that's your lesson, is to just do it anyway. Do it because you feel prompted to do it. Do it because you're passionate about it. Do it. And it could be part of your lesson here is to not need the validation from people who maybe have never been that supportive of you anyway. That's a hard one. It's a hard one, but what are your options? Other than to move, if you believe in what you're doing, if you believe in this work, and you believe you have a calling and a commitment and a skill in this, then do it. And maybe, Teresa, maybe not share so much with them. Sometimes when we share things, it bleeds off the energy. So maybe keep your own counsel, or seek the counsel of people who you know, love, and support you. Even if people don't understand what you do, they can still support you and be supportive of you. So I'm sorry you're in this situation. It's not unfamiliar to me, but I think that let's be who you are. The best revenge is success, Teresa.
That is true too. And that was what I was going to talk about, actually. I think Alan's right. When you guys are in, I think I know I've experienced this. I'm sure that Alan has experienced this. When you're doing something that's outside of whatever society thinks is normal, people look at you a little weird, or they're not, I've lost friends over doing what I do. So I just want to say that, yes, this does happen. I want to say also that when it's your family, it might be like politics, where you just agree to not talk about it, where, like Alan says, you're just like, if you don't support me, that's your choice, but we're not going to talk about it. And then the other thing is, it's really success. What I know is, when you're successful, when either someone comes up to your family and says, wow, she really helped me, Teresa was amazing, they'll change their mind. They'll turn around and be your biggest cheerleaders, right? Because now they're connected to a celebrity in their mind, right? Or if you start paying your way with your own bills, they'll come along too. So it's in, success is part of the equation too, to get them to come around.
Right. And in regard to that, Bonnie says, be happy and don't give them your joy.
It's hard. I mean, I know it's easy to say that, but if your husband or your wife or your husband, your kid is making fun of you, I don't know what the situation is. We don't know how much disrespect she's getting, right?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
So you have to put up the boundaries then. If that's happening, if people are disrespecting you, then you've got bigger problems than you're just a healer and they don't like it. They're disrespecting you all the way around, right? So put up a boundary.
Yeah. And good luck.
And good luck, because we need you guys. Spirit wants as many of us as possible out there doing the work in some way, in your own way.
Do the work anyway, and don't seek their approval, their validation, and see where take your own satisfaction in doing the work you were sent here to do. And that can be lonely, but ultimately, I think, very rewarding.
Oh, she's being made fun of. She's being made fun of.
Oh.
So yeah. So Teresa, you've got other problems. Okay. This is systemic from before you were a healer. Okay. This is disrespect. So this is like, okay, now we need marriage therapy or couples therapy, or because I'm just going to say that as your vibration rises, you're just not going to want to put up with people with really low vibrations. So you're either going to have to figure out a way to get them to respect you, or to put up a boundary there, or, I don't know what's going to happen there. But this is bigger than just being a healer. I'm serious. This person has never respected you. They wouldn't just start now.
And the disrespect is often a sign that they feel you're leaving. In some ways, you're not, you're not the same person. You've changed. Oh my God, you've changed. And that you're moving beyond me. You're moving beyond us.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
We don't know who you are anymore. So their inability to grow in their awareness of you and of themselves isn't a reason for you to not to follow your calling.
Right. Good luck, Teresa. It's a journey, dear. It's a journey. And come out here and ask for support, get on these lives and get in the chat and share with people. Find your people. Don't do this alone, everybody. Find your community.
And Susan has created a great community.
Thank you, Alan.
You're welcome.
All right.
It was a paid promotion.
It's an unpaid promotion.
It was unpaid promotion. This is topical, don't you think?
Yeah.
Mirabella asks, I work for the federal government in IT and will have a hard time going to the office full time because I temporarily relocated out of town to care for my 91-year-old mom. What can Spirit tell me about my job?
Lawsuit. I think it's a lawsuit. I think you are protected as an employee. But I think they're going to do shenanigans, and I think that you might end up being a part of a class action lawsuit or your own lawsuit against the EEOC. So follow the rule of your employer, right? Follow all the rules, do everything to the letter, to the absolute letter, and try to protect your job in the sense that you could get a monetary settlement. Okay. Or if you feel like you want to move on out of the government, I feel like you could move on. This is all advice. So please make your own mind up, do your own due diligence. I feel like you could move out of this job and still get compensation later once everything has, the madman, we've dealt with things. This could be 16 months later that you could get some compensation. But so I'm not sure where you are. I'm not sure what you want to do, right? But it feels like you don't feel like you can go back to work.
I think that it's not all going to fall apart all at once tomorrow. I think much of this is going to continue to unfold over the months ahead. And I think, as Susan said, dot your I's and cross your T's, look into any class action, and maybe keep your head down. And then, as far as your mom, you may want to, there could be some other types of help in terms of her care that you could bring in that could help give you a little more leeway.
Yeah.
And I think that would be temporary.
Yeah.
But I think that would help you not feel the massive weight of your job, being treated poorly at work, and then the responsibility of your mom. So maybe there's some sort of caregiving component that you can utilize.
Right.
And I say short term, like even within, 4, 5, 6 months, because it feels like some of this is going to hit a brick wall.
Right. That's why I'm saying, like, try to hang on some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Even if so if your employee manual says you can do this and they haven't changed that employee manual, then you can do it, right? Then you've got standing to take them to court. But it's all a gamble. This is a very uncertain time, right? So I'm with Alan. I think you could also find someone else or some other way to deal with your mom. Sometimes this energy right now in 2025 is very much push comes to shove. Push comes to shove. Something's got to give. Will you give or will they give, right? So it's almost like you pick your mom up and you say, you're coming with me and I need to keep this job. And this is what we're doing. Like, there's no conversation about this. It's push come to shove. What are you willing to give up, or what are you willing to make happen? This is where we are. It's not going to be this is not the same energy as 2024. Totally.
And the image I'm getting, what they're telling me is your slice of butter bread falls butter side up. So when this is all over,
nice. That's always
okay.
Nice. That's always nice.
It's a food metaphor.
Yeah, I like that. I like it when my butter ends up the right side up.
Butter side up.
Without dog hair in it. That's nice.
That's good roughage.
It's oh God no. God no.
All right.
Okay.
Who's up?
I think I am, and I saw it, and the comments are going by too quickly, and I really want to do it because
a lot of great comments.
I know. We don't have all night either. We're going to have to, I'm going to go to the start and see if the problem is they just keep whirling by and I see it and the spirit says, do this one. And then it's gone. And then it's, it's like trying to find it again is impossible, unfortunately. Oh my God. All right. I give up. I can't find it. All right. It is what it is.
What did it pertain to?
It's okay. It'll, spirit knows they need to put it in front of me if they want me to do it. That's the way we work around here, folks. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah. The Family Leave Act. Yeah. There's a lot of things that, there it is. Thank you, Linda. Aaron, should I follow
Wow,
through and
that's
teach?
the one I was just about to post.
See, there's energy. I don't know why. Spirit just like directs us to certain comments. I don't know why.
Linda has Linda, you have reposted your question about 100 times, and that shows persistence, and that shows that you are committed to getting some feedback on this. So I wanted to honor that.
Yes, I think vendor shows are exhausting you. I think there's too much travel. I think there's too many logistics. And I think that in the end, it's not, when you put pen to paper, really put pen to paper, the money doesn't add up. Like when you take into wear and tear in your car, transportation, all those things. So yes, I agree. You should teach classes in crochet. You can even have, the spirit guides are saying you could do a YouTube channel where you teach people certain little stitches. And listen, you guys, all you people out there are like, oh, there's a million YouTube channels. Yes, there are, but there's only one of you. So just try it and see if it works, right? Like it's free. You might as well just try it and see if it works. So yes, I agree. What do you think, Alan?
I also agree. I feel that the vendor shows were born out of an old poverty consciousness you had. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. It's supposed to be difficult. But I think they've run their course, and I think you've gained what you can from them. And I think you're now realizing that in the final analysis, the payoff is just not, in terms of money and also your energy, it's not a good it's not good calculus. You are persistent. I think you've got great ideas. I think that you're fun. I think you've got some amazing crochet projects. I mean, this isn't like grandma's Afghan. There's some amazing stuff. Sorry, both my grandmothers crocheted. And I have something on the back of my couch now. So look at that. Nice. Linda, I think pursue this. And I think that, again, YouTube and using the internet is a way to get your designs out there too. Have you patented some of these? It feels like they're of a level that of a creative level that, I don't know if you even do that, but you need to take credit for what you've designed. It's fun.
And I don't want to get it mixed up. Yes, teach in person too. Like it's not just internet. It's just in addition to maybe in person, also do it online. It seems like just teaching in general is very highlighted for you. Yeah.
But it's fun. There's a lot of joy in this.
Yeah. There's a lot of joy. And you are an expert, and yes, you can teach, and yes, you're supposed to teach. Okay. Let's move on. Stephen Heller says, I've been looking for work since October. Will I find a new job? Again, I feel like there's something indicative about how you asked this question, because I've been looking for work, and Spirit is like, yes, but what kind of work? Right? So if you're just trying to find any job, like I just need to pay my bills, Spirit wants you to hone in on something, and they're telling me that you have a talent that you're not utilizing, or you're not aware of, or you don't think it's good enough, or maybe you think you need to have a degree. There's some kind of limiting belief around a talent that you have that is actually kind of your soul path, and I can't quite figure it out. But part of the problem here is I've been looking for work, and Spirit is like, we don't want you to work. We want you to find your path. So this is why you're not finding jobs, because they really want you to do something very specific, or at least be in the field of something specific. Does that make sense, Alan, or no?
Yeah, it does. And I think, Stephen, there may be, again, we're talking about energy getting shaken up and shifted. We talked about a clog in someone's. So I think that the recent energy has caused people to hunker down maybe and hide under the bed. But I know this has been going on since October, Stephen. I'm thinking would you ever consider moving? Because it feels like there's a move that there's an opportunity, but it would require you to move. And that
what kind of work do you do, Stephen? Tell me what you do. Give us a little bit more information. The more information you guys give us, the more information we give you.
Mm-hmm.
If you leave it broad, then I can only go broad. I can't in like the 2 minutes that we have, I just don't have enough time to go into a whole reading, right?
Yeah.
But if we were just to say, will he find work? What's the energy around him finding work?
It's a yes, but.
Exactly. What's the but? Timing or?
Think where he's looking, what he's willing to do. I'm not saying it's about settling, but it feels like this is a prompt from the universe to say aim higher.
I know. Bet on you. Bet on you.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. What did he say? Can they point me towards a path? I agree. There's a block. I was a job recruiter for 12 years. Okay. Now we got a ball game. All right. Okay. You were a job recruiter. Okay.
No sports references, Susan.
Oh, darn it. Okay. So you are a counselor. You're a person who understands people. You understand concepts. What they're telling me is you would be good at a project coordinator job. And I'm not saying this is like your soul path, but I'm saying like this is a job. Now, the problem is right now, this is like the world's worst time to be trying to find something. But I think if we can get you closer to your soul's path, you're going to find a job. And for me, the magic for you is you've got this knack of doing something. You've got a knack of putting people together or figuring things out. You're very strategic. So that's why I like the project management. Like you're like, to you, this is the problem for all of us. Our specialty seems normal. It seems so boring. We don't think it's special because we've always had it. To us, it's like, doesn't everybody do this? No, they don't. So I'm telling you, Stephen, not everybody does this. You have this knack of putting things together, and it's just so easy for you to do. It's the way your brain works. It's almost engineering in the sense that it snaps things together. What do you think about that, Alan? What else? What other careers?
Do folks out there remember the book, What Color is My Parachute?
Yeah.
So that took a really interesting approach, Stephen,
But
in
where
that
it
challenged you not to say, should I be a butcher, candlestick maker, or, lawyer, whatever. It had you focus on what are your talents, what are your skills, what are your passions. There was a whole different way at that time, I think, to consider where to direct one's energies. And I think just as we talked about the woman a few readings back would be a great editor, I think you also have that ability to see something from a much larger standpoint and to handle many movable parts. Even something, I'm just throwing this out there, like a probation officer or a counselor or something.
I get counselor for him.
Yeah, a counselor. I think you would be really good at that. And I
think you'd have to go back to school for that.
I was just going to say, I think you'd have to get some sort of a degree, but
I think he could work at a university. I keep getting universities and schools for him.
Almost like a guidance counselor or
almost a guidance counselor, but a recruiter or a what do you call that when you have the when people get scholarships, like in the scholarship office? Look into higher education. There's energy around you working in schools, be they, to me, it's community colleges or colleges, but
yeah, I'm thinking that we're starting to shift your thought pattern, Stephen, to something. I'm also thinking that there are going to be some options for you. It's it's too black and white to say it's a terrible job market. I think there are going to be niches that you find.
Yes.
And
you're going to be happy.
Yeah.
And this is really weird, but when I look at your picture, and I don't know if this picture is, 40 years ago or 5 years ago, but I feel like maybe in your youth you were into sports, and I also get coaching for you. Some kind of, again, there's coaching and counseling is very similar. But I like that, but I also like project management, because I feel like I could see you at a computer with 5 projects and you like just organizing them, like keeping them all in the flow. So those are the things I would try. That's what the yes, but is. The yes, but is, yes, a job is coming, but it's not as a recruiter, I don't think.
And that involves a pivot. There we go again with pivots.
Yeah.
All right.
Denise says counselors are not, the pay's not that great. To me, he feels like a person who would counsel kids without being a counselor. So like incoming freshmen, college freshmen, the student loan department, or, those kinds of, that kind of energy, or a recruiter for a college, a recruiter for a sports team. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of widen your vision.
And Stephen, also realize that some of those dents to your self-confidence, they're getting repaired. It feels like the energy that's coming in. I think Jupiter went direct today. So you're gonna find like a sense, I can do that, or I can try that, or having more hope. You're coming out of that dip.
Awesome. Very, very cool. We
right.
wish you all the best, Stephen. Thank you for giving us that extra information. Let's just do a couple of more. We're on for an hour and 30 minutes. Let me do just 2 more, and I'm running out of. Oh, Libby's here. Hey, Meister Tarot is here. Big fan. You just got off the treadmill. Don't be coming in here saying dirty words like that. Jesus, that's like a cuss word around here.
No sports references and no exercising.
Yeah,
we won't
got
stand
off the
for
treadmill. Dang. All right. Not only do we have to be a great, medium and psychic and tarot reader like Libby, now we got to get in shape. Great. Thanks, Libby. All right.
Wear dark colors with vertical stripes.
I'm going to be
and don't belt. No belts.
No
Talon,
belts.
Don't cinch it. Talon Young asks, do my parents, Jack and Imogene, have a message or info for me regarding what I was really supposed to inherit? Do they feel my sibs misled me? I love that name as Jack and Imogene. I bet they had some great parties.
Okay. Yes.
I feel that they're beaming love to you, and I don't feel that they're. It's such the inheritance issue. They don't really feel. I don't feel them giving much. It's not that they don't give thought to it, but it's not the reasons they come through. I think that there's a certain what happened, and they would like you to make your peace with that. And I think no matter what they say, it feels like they're remaining neutral about it and encouraging you to do the work around that you need to do to come to some accommodation within yourself. They're not saying it happened. They're not saying it didn't happen. But perhaps they're asking, to what end? To what end? At this point, why does it matter?
Oof. I've been there. I've been in your shoes, Talon, and I can just tell you, I understand what Alan is saying, and I think he's right. But I can also say, because I've been in your shoes, where my inheritance was taken by my sister, and I can say that I made peace with it, and I think that's what Alan is trying to tell you at this point. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing your parents can do at this point. And the best thing to do is to make peace with it and give it over to spirit and let whatever if there is karma or not karma, it's not, don't be a part of that. Allow whatever happens to be clear of your intention. Okay. Because there's nothing they can do. And even if they came through and told you, yeah, they ripped you off, well, what are you going to do? Because I can tell you, I'm a medium and my dad came through. Not only did he come through, if I got within 10 feet of a medium, literally, they would say, this man is here. And I'm like, oh, yeah. He's like, and he's saying, go through the window. And I'm like, yes, I know. And he's saying that it's on the table. And I'm like, yes, I know. He would tell everybody. And he told me, and I did it. I literally did it. I went back to my home in a different state, used my key, went in, found the papers exactly where my dad said they would be, copied them with my camera, went straight to an attorney's office, talked to the attorney. The attorney's like, yeah, yeah, they did. But that's not millions of dollars. You're going to spend so much money on attorney fees that it's not going to be worth it. You know, what is your game plan here to get them back? Or, you know, what is it? So I've been there and I know that it's hurtful. It's really, the thing that I think struck me was I couldn't believe that she did it. Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, that's what took me out, was wow, you know? So I want to honor that this is an emotional thing, and it's not just get over it. It's fine. I get we're saying that to you, but I'm also telling you get over it, because there's nothing really that you're going to do. Your parents loved you. They love you. If there was a miscommunication, they're sorry about it, I feel. They really don't feel like there's anything they can do at this time. And
it feels like their intentions were not honored in the distribution.
it seems like something was
Manipulated.
Not wholesale crazy, but just slightly changed.
And Susan, when your father came through, do you think his intention was to help you come to that conclusion, or by seeing the papers and taking it to the attorney, you followed through and it came to a logical conclusion, and that I'm not going to pursue this? Do you feel
but that didn't shut him up. He kept going after that. It took him a year to let go of it. I came to my letting go before he did. But for him, it was about fairness, and it was about his will. I mean, his will and his will, right? And it's not like she stole millions of dollars. It was more about the principle of the situation, right? And I don't think this is very common. I think it just happened because I'm a medium and my dad works as a guide for me. So I don't think this is a common thing at all. But in my case, you know, yeah, I've been in your shoes, and I know that it hurts, and it feels really, and it's usually, isn't it always built on the rest of the family situation? You know what I mean? Like there's already history there, right? That has already been painful or in some way not fair. So the best thing is just to say, well, it is what it is. I need to move on, because you're giving your energy away to a black hole. You're just throwing your energy away. Bring that energy back to you. Empower you with it. Walk away. And when I did that, when you walk away from these black holes, you do so much better, because you're keeping your energy in you. You're not giving it away to anger or hate or irritation or injustice. You're never going to get it. It's a black hole. Bring it back to you. Take care of yourself. Move on for you. Let them, that's their karma.
Yeah, and it feels that Jack and Imogene have, there's a conduit now with her that may not exist with other family members because of the actions those other family members did. So it feels like that Talon, there seems to be a simpatico now with you and your parents after this.
A healing, maybe
healing.
even a little bit of a healing too,
Yes.
right? They do love you. They do want the best for you. They're saying they weren't perfect. They weren't perfect. Okay. There could have been some injustices or a little bit of, they can see all that now. But there's nothing they can do in this situation.
Yeah. But it does feel like they're confirming that she was misled, or there was something.
There was something hinky, something not quite right.
Yeah.
But you know what? My sister is not a happy person, and I'm a happy person. And that's all, I don't want her to be unhappy. I'm just saying, I'm happy. My side of the yard, my side of the fence is clear. I've cleared it. I wish everybody the best. Therefore, I can receive the best.
Right. Amen. Good luck, Talon.
Yeah, good luck, dear. That's tough. It's really tough. One more and we're done.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
No. It's your turn.
Oh
Ladies
my
first.
God. Oh no, I don't know. Okay.
Or pick a new one.
Wait. Golly, it's moving again. It's moving. I saw the tears. What did he want to say? Pamela says her stepdad passed in October. I saw the tears. What did he want to say? So there's a sense, I don't know your dad's name, and but anyway, there's a sense of what I'm getting from your dad is or your stepdad is there's a sense I'm getting, he feels like he didn't stand up enough for you, that he could have taken your side more, or it's almost a sense of protection, but I don't think it's physical. I just think it's like there were arrows or barbs thrown at you that were not fair. And he just wishes he would have been more present or more. I just keep getting a sense of protection in some way. I don't think it's physical. I think it's emotional, but that he wishes that things had been different. He wishes that he could have been a stronger man, right?
More courageous too. I think
More
he
courageous.
realizes he was cowed. There were people he was cowed by, and I think
keeping the peace.
And I think on the other side, he's able to see all of the things that actually happened and how courageous you are.
That's right.
I think, and that's what made him cry. Is I wish I had courage that you showed.
You have a brave heart, girl. Yeah.
Yeah, brave heart. So, and part of this, feel like he was honoring you, honoring your courage and your lion heart.
Yeah. Yeah, your lion heart. Yeah, exactly. So I think also that he feels like, there's never enough time, right? Like we always think tomorrow. It's a really good message for all of us, right? We always think, well, there's tomorrow, or I'll tell her next week, or I'll do the thing, right? And this is a really good lesson that there's not always tomorrow. There's not always next week. And I think that was also his tears. His tears were like, he just feels like something wasn't finished.
I wish he had some second chances. I'm also wondering if his last illness was related to the suppression of a lot of energy. It felt like there was a lot that was held in.
See, you see him as always being there for you, and he saw himself as not being there enough for you. Isn't that interesting? Can you guys see that in our human world, how that happens? He felt like he could have done so much more for you. And I would just say that he saw things that you didn't see. Like maybe he saw the both sides of the relationship between you and your mom. He saw it from his perspective, and he felt like there was a lot of things that were unfair that he should have done more too. He was trying to keep the peace. I just keep hearing, I was trying to keep the peace.
It was a complicated constellation of people and power structure and family stuff that he married into. Susan, I'm getting the feeling that the sense I have is his application is pending to get clearance to be like a guardian angel to her to come.
His application is pending. Jesus. Dang. Okay. Yeah. So he wants to guide her, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. He wants to be a guide for you. An earthly, I'm getting chills. I'm getting the word earthly guide. That I would say in my experience, I'm not saying I'm the most experienced, but in my experience, that's not common. So usually, we have our roles and we cross over and we're like, done, right? But he's circling back around. Again, he's not finished. He wants to help you. There's something you're trying to achieve, Pamela. He's like, I've got to see her through this. That's another reason why he was crying. He's like, darn it. I needed to live long enough to see this or to get through this.
Yeah, he's
a good soul. He's a good soul.
Yes, and he wrote a good application too. I think it's going to get approved, so he can be closer to you. However that works.
Do you have kids, Pamela? Do you have kids? He never. Okay. Do you have kids, Pamela? There's something about. I think there's something about.
She said yes, yes, never remarried.
But I'm not sure she's talking about him or her.
Okay.
There's an achievement. There's an achievement that he wants to see. Yes, you have 3. Okay. There's an achievement he wants to see you do. Graduate or get this job or get this. There's something that he promised himself that he would see you through to do. You never remarried. Okay. It could be remarrying. It could be finding his replacement. I think
he's a nice man.
He's a nice man. It's really nice to have that, right, in your family, to have somebody looking out for you. What a nice guy. You got your BA. Okay. Well, you're good. I think it's he wants to see you happily in a relationship, whatever that is, whatever, however that works for you. He wants to see you. He wants you to have a partner. He wants you to be safe and have a partner. That's kind of what I'm getting.
And I would make an effort to reach out to him and let him know that
that's a really good idea.
I'm looking for I was told about a movie that's on YouTube where it's a documentary where widows started writing letters to their late husbands, and they wrote back.
How?
I'm looking. Where was that?
So he can speak to you, Pamela, through smells. I feel like you could smell something that would remind you of him. I also think he's going to communicate with you through songs. You'll hear a song in your head that's not playing in your head, and that will be him. You'll hear a song on the radio or on your playlist, or it'll just pop up in the store. That will remind you of him. Those are him. Those are real messages. Those are not to be, disregarded. What is it, Alan?
The documentary is called Life with Ghosts. Life with Ghosts.
That sounds like my life. They done wrote about my life.
But wait, there's a song. It's called When Weird is also wonderful. Apparently it's quite good. And it won some award, indie.
Y'all, for real, they done stole my life. I'm gonna. That's it. That's it. I've had it.
We'll come up with a new title.
I need an attorney, and I need a ghost attorney. Okay, so she says she does get smells, and she does hear her name called. That is your dad. Your dad is gonna be pretty. Look, if his application gets approved, if Alan puts in a good word for him, then he's gonna be working with you pretty closely. He's going to be
and he it feels like he wants to make up for what he wasn't able to do in life, and that's on
him. I mean, she thinks he was the best stepdad ever. It's on his side that he's like, I let her down. So yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, royalties. Wow. Exactly, Kevin. Exactly, work? Kevin. Yeah, it is. Thank you guys so much. We've been on for almost 2 hours, so. If you're just joining us, please start at the beginning and listen to all these things, because your messages are embedded in other people's messages. You can get so many messages listening to other people's questions and answers and think, wow, something snaps, something goes off, and you're like, that's for me, right? Like, I can use that. Or you get chills and you're like, that's for me, right? So please do so. Check out Alan. His information is down in the description. And if you're new here for me, please subscribe. Check out our amazing readers that were joining us in the chat today. We have got the best community on YouTube, bar none. This is the best community right here. I'm so happy to be a part of it.
And I'm sorry to bait and switch, but Susan and I will not be singing Islands in the Stream.
No, they knew that.
We'll work up something
well,
else.
You can sing it.
Little dance routine or something like that next time.
Oh my God. All right.
gotta...
Well, this is the last time you're going to see Alan on my channel, y'all. Alan is now available if Libby or Kevin
write in campaign.
Anybody
write in.
Host,
More
anybody
Alan.
wants to host
More
Alan,
Alan.
just look, Karen, I think Karen's in the media. She could maybe do a little, soft shoe kind of thing. Look, we'll start a band. We're going to have to make extra money during this whole thing with the
I don't know that we need a gimmick. I think it's just we're unplugged. We just.
Are you trying to say we need a gimmick?
No, I think we don't. It just occurred to me.
Alan who? Kevin's like, Alan who? I don't know. No, Alan. Yeah,
Kevin.
Alan. See what happened? Your application has been denied for singing. Alan has a great voice. YouTube.
When have you heard me sing?
I don't know, but I feel like you have a good voice.
No, thank you. More Alan. Thank you, Karen VH. Now we're talking.
Psychic rock. Exactly. The psychic rock or the space cowboys or something. I don't know, you guys. Look, things are going to get rough around here. We might need to get some other gigs going. Okay. That's all I can say.
We're punchy, and this is only going to devolve further.
Yeah. So we have to go.
We have to go.
Before you guys have actual evidence against us for something that we didn't even know we did. Okay, you guys. Thanks so much, everybody. Alan's in the stream. That's hilarious. Yeah. All right, everybody.
I'll be back. I won't. I'll be back. Well, Susan will need to invite me to be back.
They'll do a write-in campaign. Believe me, they'll do a write-in. That's what happened the last time you disappeared 9 months ago. Suspiciously,
Susan's
9
home phone
months ago. We don't know where the baby is. We don't know who the daddy is.
Okay. I had.
We don't know what is going on.
I had work done.
I'm just saying.
Look at that jawline.
Yeah, or maybe there was, a little. I don't think it does take 9 months to get a new jawline. Anyway, Susan. I don't know. Right. Look, you guys.
Let's quit before we.
Please, let's do. Bye, everybody. See you soon.